Greater than Mommy. The little girl's voice was barely louder than a breath. Daddy is hiding a woman under the bed. Those words were soft, innocent. Yet they hit Evelyn Parker like a gunshot. Evelyn stood frozen in the doorway of her own house. Her heels hadn't even touched the floor properly yet. Her small carry-on bag still hung from her shoulder. She had arrived one full day early from her business trip, heart light, smiling to herself as she imagined surprising her husband. The house was supposed to be empty. Quiet. Her daughter should have been in school. But there she was. Lily Parker, 8 years old, standing in her school uniform with her backpack still strapped on, looking calm, almost proud of herself for sharing a secret. Evelyn blinked. "Sweetheart," she said softly, lowering herself to Lily's height. "What did you just say?" Lily leaned in closer, as if playing a game. "Daddy told the lady to hide under the bed," she whispered again. "He said I was home." The world tilted. Evelyn felt the air leave her lungs, but she didn't let it show, not even for a second. Her face stayed gentle, warm, safe. "That's a funny thing to say," Evelyn replied, brushing Lily's hair back carefully. "Are you sure you heard him right?" Lily nodded, confident, certain. "Yes, Mommy." Evelyn swallowed. "Why are you home so early?" she asked calmly. "Didn't you have school today?" Lily shifted her feet. "I did," she said, "but the teacher sent me home." Evelyn's chest tightened. "Why?" "She said there's still school fees balance," Lily replied innocently. "She called Daddy many times, but he didn't answer. She tried calling you too, but your phone was busy, so she sent me home." Evelyn's heart cracked, just slightly. 3 days ago, before leaving for Chicago, she had handed Mark Parker, her husband, an envelope. Inside it was the full school fees. She remembered standing by the kitchen counter, saying clearly, "Please pay Lily's fees today." She remembered him nodding. She remembered trusting him. Evelyn forced a smile. "It's okay," she said gently. "Go put your bag in your room, baby." Lily nodded and walked away. Evelyn remained standing in the living room. That's when she noticed it. A woman's travel bag near the couch. Not hers. Not Lily's. Her fingers curled slowly. The whisper. The unpaid fees. The strange bag. The pieces were sliding together, quietly, cruelly. Evelyn took a breath. She didn't shout. She didn't panic. She didn't run. She told Lily softly, "Stay in your room, sweetheart. Mommy needs to talk to Daddy." Then she walked. Each step toward the bedroom felt heavier than the last. This was the house she had built. The life she had financed. The marriage she had believed in. She opened the bedroom door. Mark was sitting on the edge of the bed. Relaxed. Comfortable. He looked up and smiled like nothing was wrong. "You're back early," he said casually. "I wasn't expecting you today." Evelyn placed her bag down carefully. "My meetings ended sooner," she replied evenly. "I thought I'd surprise you." "Well," Mark smiled, "welcome home." The room looked normal. Too normal. The bed was made almost too neatly. Evelyn sat beside him and began removing her earrings. Her hands trembled slightly. She remembered the nights she worked until 2 a.m. while Mark slept peacefully beside her. She remembered building her company from scratch. She remembered lifting him with her success. An earring slipped from her fingers and hit the floor. "Oh," she said calmly, "I dropped one." She bent down slowly. Her heart pounded louder with every inch closer to the floor. Then she saw it. Under the bed. A woman. Curled tightly. Eyes wide with fear. Clutching a handbag like a shield. Rachel. Mark's personal assistant. The same woman who called him late at night. The same voice Evelyn had overheard on the phone. The same name Mark snapped whenever Evelyn asked questions. Rachel trembled. Evelyn stared for half a second. Then she straightened up. Calmly, she placed the earring back in her ear. Mark was still talking, completely unaware. So how was the trip? He asked. Evelyn looked at him. Productive, she said softly. Then, casually, why was Lily sent home from school today? Mark froze just for a moment. Oh, he said, I forgot to pay the fees. Forgot? Evelyn nodded. I'm going to shower, she said quietly. I'm tired. She turned on the shower, loud. But she didn't step inside. She leaned against the door. She heard whispers. Hurry, leave now, Mark hissed. Use the back door. Evelyn closed her eyes. When she stepped out, Mark stood with Rachel near the door. Oh, he said nervously, you remember my assistant, right? Evelyn smiled. Of course, she replied. Rachel avoided her eyes. She was just leaving, Mark added quickly. Evelyn studied Rachel slowly. The bedroom is an interesting place for work meetings, she said calmly. Mark snapped, don't be dramatic. Evelyn stepped aside. Rachel rushed past her and disappeared. The door closed. And in that silence, Evelyn understood something terrifyingly clear. The man she married no longer existed. That night, the house felt different. Colder. At dinner, Mark tried to talk. Evelyn answered politely, but distantly. She didn't laugh. She didn't argue. She observed. Lily ate quietly, unaware of the storm gathering. Later, after putting Lily to bed, Evelyn went into her study. She opened a small notebook and began to write. Dates, calls, withdrawals, excuses. Her anger didn't explode. It focused. Days passed. Mark's lies grew sloppy. Money vanished from accounts. Rachel kept appearing. Evelyn said nothing. She watched. She waited. She gathered. Mark began to feel it, the change. The silence. The calm that felt dangerous. He didn't know yet. But his world was already cracking. Evelyn Parker didn't scream. She didn't confront. She didn't cry. Instead, she made one phone call. And that single decision would destroy the man who thought hiding a woman under his bed was the worst secret she'd ever discover. The morning after Evelyn called the lawyer, the house woke up like nothing had changed. Sunlight poured through the kitchen windows. Birds chirped. Coffee brewed. Mark sat at the table scrolling through his phone, relaxed, careless, unaware that the ground beneath him was already cracking. Morning, he said casually. Evelyn placed Lily's lunchbox on the counter. Good morning, she replied politely. Her voice was calm, neutral. Too calm. Mark noticed it. You seem quiet, he said, glancing at her. I'm just tired, Evelyn answered. It was true, but not in the way he thought. She was tired of trusting blindly. Tired of carrying everyone. Tired of being underestimated. Lily skipped into the kitchen, smiling. Evelyn bent down and fixed her daughter's collar. I'll pick you up today, she said softly. Mark stiffened slightly. I thought I'd do it, he offered. Evelyn met his eyes. I already told the school I would, she said calmly. Mark nodded, forcing a smile. As Lily left for school, Evelyn watched her from the doorway, memorizing her laughter, her innocence. Everything I do now, she thought, is for you. That afternoon, Evelyn sat across from Daniel Ross, one of the most respected family and corporate attorneys in the city. She placed her notebook on the table. Daniel flipped through the pages slowly. Dates, amounts, account numbers, affairs, false expenses. His eyebrows lifted. This is serious, he said finally. I know, Evelyn replied. He's been stealing from your company, Daniel continued. This isn't just marital betrayal, this is fraud, embezzlement. Evelyn nodded. I want everything done legally, she said, quietly, correctly. Daniel leaned back. You've already done the hardest part, he said. You stayed calm. He paused. If you want, he added, we can freeze accounts within days. Evelyn's jaw tightened slightly. Not yet, she said. I want more. Daniel studied her carefully. You want the full picture? Yes. He nodded. Then we document everything. When this comes down, it comes down clean. Evelyn stood up. Good, she said, because I'm done carrying his lies. Over the next 2 weeks, Evelyn became invisible. Not to Mark, but to suspicion. She cooked. She cleaned. She smiled faintly. But behind that calm routine, she worked relentlessly. She reviewed every company account. She traced every withdrawal. She discovered fake vendor invoices, money routed to accounts Mark controlled. Late nights, careful screenshots, cloud backups. She reached out to Mark's colleagues, posing as a potential investor. What she heard made her stomach turn. Mark took credit for others' work. He lied to clients. He manipulated finances. And Rachel, she wasn't the only one. There were hotel bookings, flights, text records. Evelyn wrote everything down. Each truth hardened her resolve. She no longer felt pain, only clarity. Mark started noticing. Calls went unanswered. Meetings were cancelled. Colleagues avoided him. One evening, he slammed his phone down. Something's wrong, he muttered. Evelyn looked up from her book. What do you mean? She asked calmly. My bank flagged a transaction, Mark said. It's nothing but. Evelyn nodded. Maybe you should talk to your accountant, she suggested gently. Mark frowned. You're not worried. She met his eyes. Should I be? He looked away. That night, Mark barely slept. Evelyn did. Daniel called 3 days later. We're ready, he said. Evelyn exhaled slowly. Do it. By noon, Mark's personal accounts were frozen. By evening, auditors were contacting his office. By the next morning, rumors spread. Emails circulated. Documents leaked, legally carefully. Mark's phone rang non-stop. When he came home that night, he looked like a stranger. His face pale. His confidence gone. Evelyn, he said urgently, we need to talk. She closed Lily's bedroom door gently, then turned to him. Yes, she said, we do. Mark's voice trembled. My accounts are frozen, clients are asking questions, my lawyer says. Evelyn folded her arms calmly. I told you once, she said, trust is everything. Mark's knees buckled slightly. Did you do this? He whispered. Yes, Evelyn replied. You're destroying me, he cried. She shook her head. No, she said quietly, I'm exposing you. He dropped to the couch. I made mistakes, he sobbed, but I love you, I'll change. Evelyn looked at him, not with anger, not with hate. With finality. You hid a woman under our bed, she said. You stole from our daughter, you stole from me, you didn't make mistakes, you made choices. He reached for her. She stepped back. This conversation is over, she said. Within days, Evelyn filed for divorce. Full custody of Lily. Complete financial separation. Public documentation of Mark's fraud followed. Rachel disappeared. So did the others. Mark's reputation collapsed. He lost his job. Then his friends. Then the house. Evelyn sold it quietly. She packed only what mattered. Months later, Evelyn and Lily moved into a smaller home filled with light. Lily laughed again. Evelyn slept peacefully. One evening, as Lily drifted to sleep, she whispered, "Mommy, are we safe now?" Evelyn kissed her forehead. "Yes, my love," she said, "we are." She turned off the light and smiled. Not with bitterness, with strength. Betrayal doesn't always end in screams. Sometimes it ends in silence. Documentation and justice. Never underestimate a woman who chooses patience over rage. Because when she moves with purpose.